Are you ready for the full moon in Aries? It's a super moon, so it's going to invoke massive change, plus Mercury, the planet of communication, and Pluto, the planet of transformation, are tussling during this very intense full moon. There will be world news, there will be personal news, there will be revolution in our hearts. Let's get into it. So what do you think of when you think of Aries? It's courage, it's strength, it's power, it's impulsive, it's very, very large, it can be angry and explosive and then calm down. But it's going to give us all the ability to do something impulsively that we want to do, but maybe we've been a bit fearful of. It is the courage full moon. It is the full moon that allows us to trust ourselves and have faith in our journey. Sometimes that's difficult. Sometimes, we've got all these responsibilities. We can't just do what we want. But the full moon in Aries goes, I'm just going to explode with my truth and explode with what I want to do. And I'm going to take that leap of faith, a lot like the Fool in the Tarot. So be prepared. Externally, everybody is all their emotions and all our emotions are on the surface. It's going to be very, very intense. Now, Mercury, the planet of communication, is in Scorpio. So that adds a deeper layer of sizzle. So the people around us kind of have superpowers, as do we. It's like we're all become, for the day, a psychic detective. We can look into the hearts of other people. We can tell if they're lying. We can tell their baser instincts. We can tell their true agenda. If you don't balance that energy, though, you might find yourself wanting to be vengeful and wanting to kind of, I'm going to seek the revenge of my enemies. And of course, Aries, which is the spirit of war and let me fight for what I believe in, these two, happening in the same sky can cause a bit of mayhem. On top of that, Pluto, who is the ultimate destroyer, plus transformer, life, death, rebirth, all the primal emotions, is having a big old tussle with Mercury. And, the fiery flames of Aries, instead of calming things down, is going, let's go, let's go. So we've all got to be very careful. And I think we're going to see in the world some very extreme behaviour, because all of these planets do not like to give up or be gentle or compromise. So, and also the square between Scorpio Mercury and Aquarius Pluto is a fight for who controls community, right? Who controls all of us. And we're going to see something which hopefully after the fact we will see as clearly irrational and clearly not right. We're going through a moment of awakening at the moment. We're going through a moment where if you look around you, people who do have very stuck views are suddenly seeing different opinions or seeing the truth, or looking at some of the horrors in the world, looking at some of the situations that are going on and seeing it from a new angle. And I believe that's part of the Pluto shift. We are transforming our humanity and we are going to end up having to look at things a different way. And fingers crossed, AI might actually help us with that. It's going to go one way or the other. But imagine if AI could help us all come together and teach us how to behave. We've got to keep our spirit and not sell our soul to AI. But, that energy is coming through. That energy of technology is going to be there. If we fight it or we don't fight it, it's happening. If you look at any other time in history, when we've had big changes like the internet, even TV, people have always resisted technology. What we've got to do is use it for the greater good. And Pluto there could help us with that. But Pluto at the moment, on the full moon, is going retrograde, is going backwards. So there's this sense that, we're still not sure where we're going to go. We don't even know who we should be fighting. There's a lot of confusion. And yet there are some very, very strong, powerful forces that want extremes. They want extreme action. And they want to kind of create this upheaval so that we can't find that humanity. And I don't think it's any coincidence that this, green planet, comet, or even UFO is passing over us in early October to give us a message. It's probably going, what are these people doing? Bloody hell, what are they doing? It's like crazy down there, There's no harmony. There could be harmony. We have enough resources to all support each other, but we are just, splitting ourselves in tiny little fractions and being very, very destructive. And one has to think about why. Who would benefit from that? Anyway, I digress. Looking at the situation, personally, I'm going to be very cautious who I have around me on that full moon. I'm not going to get into beef with anyone if I can help it. You've got to really monitor your emotions, particularly if you are a fire sign, or if you do have that energy that is very, very explosive in your chart. Try and be calm. Try and be zen. Try and just see it on a different level. Otherwise, it's going to be explosive. And without doubt, we're going to see that in the external world. The week of that full moon, any day now, we're going to see people taking a very kind of extreme stance and trying to control other people. Now, what we need to do is hold the energy of love, hold the energy of belief that all of this is going to turn out all right, and use that powerful energy on that day to do something positive and to pass that on. Listen to the voice of your courage. Listen to your soul when it says, I want to go on this quest. I want to go on this journey, because your courage is rising and this full moon is going to set you free to go after that dream, to feel that not only are you enough, that you have the power and strength within you that is equal to anyone. And that is the truth. Let's look at how it's going to affect each sign. Aries. Of course, you're going to feel this like it is so raw. The power that comes through you. But you are like this. You were like, come on, who wants to fight? That's what you've got to kind of, meditate and tone that down. Instead, channel that fire into what you want to do. Take action in an area that you feel you want to push, and open your heart up to the beautiful aspect of the hero or Shiro within, so that you can be a hero for yourself as well as other people. It's going to push you to be your own best friend, but like a more warrior of love best friend, and go after something that has been on your mind for a while but you haven't done. You are going to be filled with passion. You are going to be very impulsive. If you feel a little bit out of balance on that day, just pay attention and be around people that are joyful, like to play fight, like to have a good time with you, but don't push that too far. In fact, maybe that's not a good idea. But you catch my drift. Do something physical to channel that energy. Taurus. This is going to be a very magical full moon for you. It's awakening you to your own intuition and your own sense of what's truly going on. Look out for a sign, a dream, a symbol, a strange coincidence that's going to happen very suddenly and hopefully very joyfully on that day. The conflict you may experience is between who you are in relationships and who you are out there in the world, whether it's in your career, whether it's your reputation. Do you marry these things up? Are these two things the same for you? Well, let me tell you this. Pluto is saying that your journey in life, what you want to build, what you want to construct, is very, very important. And you need to have people around you that support that share your vision. So if you're in any partnership that doesn't kind of encourage you or support you in building this sort of solid sense of self and believes that your intuition is correct about where you're going, you may find there's a bit of and it's up to you to navigate that. Gemini, who you collaborate with on this full moon is super important. And on top of that, it could be a really fantastic full moon for you to manifest with, because you are deeply connected to the whole. You are feeling this connection and you just sense, hopefully, or this full moon will give you this, you'll sense that what you believe and what you see as your future could happen. So definitely do a bit of manifesting. Mix with those people that you're not going to kind of get into a big argument with. Mix with those people that make you laugh. They might make you a bit reckless, but it's safe reckless. And there is a difference, because Aries are renowned for being reckless, but they can also be great fun and have safe boundaries. And that's a key point. Be around the people that give you safe boundaries. It's also a good day, actually, to go for it. If you want to lead a group, if you want to ask for something, if you want to do something that involves collaboration, very powerful for you. Now, the tussle you may go through is that there's a part of you that feels, I've got to be perfect. Everything's got to be right. I've got to plot and plan everything before I move on. And actually, Pluto is saying, time to have an adventure, time to travel, time to learn, time to sort of gallop towards new horizons and see things very, very differently. And don't be frightened to just go, go, go. And don't criticize yourself. And whatever happens, if someone's criticizing you when you want to have an adventure, you will not be tolerating it on this full moon. Cancer, you are thinking about your reputation. If you're working and you've got a career, it fills you up. You have a peak experience. If you're frustrated in your job, for instance, there may be a big old rah, hoo-ha. And people are like, oh, that person doesn't normally express themselves in this way. But you're not tolerating any crap when it comes to your reputation, when it comes to you being out there in the world, when it comes to your vision of where your life is going and what steps you're building. You're very, very clear on that. Now, Mercury is going, let's have fun. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having fun, and that's a good thing. But are you kind of, having fun or doing things to avoid coming into your power? Like I can't really think of an example. Like you're kind of being silly, you're kind of going out all the time when really you're not even enjoying that. Really, you want to focus on coming into your power and doing things that are meaningful. There's an opportunity with Pluto for you to really dive through all these fears and awaken to that power and to actually, your emotional sensitivity, that is in fact real, true depth. And I think that you've got to trust that. You've got to trust the depths of your soul when it comes to being out there in the world and the next part of your journey. And don't let anybody kind of dissuade you or drag you into superficial stuff. Your time is now to trust your power. Leo, this moon is great because it makes you feel super enthusiastic. It actually makes you feel very optimistic and it makes you feel very bouncy and you want to do something. You're itching to do something. You want to go exploring. You want to have an adventure. You want to mix with people that are very unique and you want to sort of really express that wild side. And you know what? Go ahead. As long as you're safe and you're not being reckless. Again, it's just keeping a lid on anything reckless, but doing something wonderful. I wouldn't do anything like climbing a mountain in a flip-flop with a carrot or anything like that. No, you've got to sort of plan things and make sure you're safe in your adventures and that you're plotting to do things and you're experiencing life, but it's not putting you in danger. We also have you thinking about your home and family and also thinking about your one-to-one relationships. And it's like you're trying to work something out. Your life going forward will become very balanced, but it's when you believe in you. Now, most people assume, because of the way Leo's come across, that they're really, really confident. But psst, I know the secret. You are a little kitten underneath and you need those sort of people around you to see that bit of vulnerability. And that's where you get your balance, actually, by feeling safe enough to share yourself. And if, I have to say, sorry, but if there's people around you that aren't that safe, you may find that you're like, oh, you see it. But that's good, because when we release people that are no good for us, we invite the space for the people that are. Virgo, this is a supremely primal moon for you. You've gone through a lot. You had that incredible new moon, and then you had the eclipse and the south node, and there's so much coming up for you to do with the past, to do with the bottom layers of your being are being kind of shaken up, a bit like, the sea, and then you're digging and then all the silt comes to the surface. You've been going through that. And this lesson is all about you coming into your power. This moon wants you to trust your power and to feel equal to anyone on this earth, which of course you are. You may come into a situation that will test you in some way. And if you really trust yourself and know that you are equal, that you are worthy of abundance, you are worthy of power, you can be trusted with power, rather than be in a situation where you feel kind of obsessed with someone because you feel that they're better than you in some way. Do not be doing that on this full moon. Otherwise you may feel jealousy, you may feel some kind of primal emotion, when actually the key to this is to give you a gift and to maybe meet powerful people that mirror to you who you are. So really, really trust that. You're also thinking about communication, how you communicate in the world. Do you speak really honestly and truthfully about who you are? Are you able to really stand there and say, this is my truth? And that is what the little between Mercury and Pluto is going to bring up for you. It's about changing small ways of being to get vast abundance. Libra, you're deciding what you want when it comes to love, when it comes to passion, when it comes to your desire. And this full moon, your relationship zone. I have to say, this is not necessarily a bad thing. You could have a peak experience on a one-to-one level with someone that you love, whether that's a friend, whether it's a lover, whatever it is. You're like, it's full on. So if you're having any difficulties with someone, maybe don't have a date with them that night. Maybe just journal, get it out, rather than just go rawr and storm in there. On the other hand, it will clear the air. On top of that, Mercury is talking to you about your sense of security, and Pluto is talking to you about your sense of fun, pleasure and creativity. And there may be a little battle there, but I have to say, Pluto is always going to be the winner. So what makes you happy? What makes you creative? Are you stopping yourself from really trusting the creative process, from trusting, leaping in and truly following your bliss? Because, you know, you feel you have to be secure, you have to make sensible decisions. I think this moon's going to turn that around for you, and I think you're going to find it very interesting. Scorpio, obviously for you, there is a lot going on because Mercury is part of that battle. What is going on here? Yes. So the part of the battle for you is finding your voice when it comes to your home and family. What is your truth? And you know, how is that going for you? Are you actually sort of putting your strength of will before your strength of comfort? Because Pluto will always win this battle, because Pluto wins every battle. And Pluto is saying to you, long term, baby, you got to think about your home and family. Where are you now? Or maybe you're fighting for your independence so you can create a home and family that suits you, a home and family that represents you. But you're also having this feeling that perhaps you have to be kind of perfect in some way. You have to be spot on to be able to have bliss. You might end up sort of being very self-critical on that full moon. Don't do that. Love yourself. Actually, the antidote to that is to do some self-care, some meditation, some journaling and all that jazz. And you will find that it washes over you. And you may find a solution in that bath full of rose quartz and rose petals. Sagittarius, my wild pony. Lucky old you. Oh, hold on a minute. Sagittarius, my wild pony. Lucky old you. You should have a fabulous time on this full moon. Certainly, you want pleasure. You want to be creative. You might have a creative download that changes everything for you. You're feeling frisky. You're feeling excited. You're actually feeling optimistic, which is very, very positive. But can it just be that, Michele? Well, Mercury square Pluto for you may make you a little bit unrealistic. You are really seeing the world through rose-tinted glasses. You know me, I applaud that. Happy days. But because of this square, you're going to have a conversation with someone. And if you haven't been entirely honest or they haven't been entirely honest, that could rise to the surface. Don't let it put a downer on you. It's always better to know the truth. You know that yourself. It's your job to be a truth teller. But you may find yourself in a circumstance on that full moon where the truth is coming up for everybody. Capricorn, the full supermoon for you is all about home and family. You are thinking about it and you are very emotional about it. Is there something specific going on with your home and family? It's all going to come to a head. Also, if you've been ignoring something, say how you feel about where you're living, or if something's been sort of a little bit off with someone in your family, you will get this intuition about what's going on. Now, do not be over emotional. I know it's not like you, but when you like to know things, right? And you like very aware of what's going around. You're very grounded. You're very practical. But sometimes, you know, on a full moon, it can like really give you intense emotions. But you will know what you're feeling around your home, around your family. Anything to do with those areas is very, very full on. And when it comes to Mercury square Pluto, you've got a decision to make about a crowd of people, about the way that you are with certain people in your life, that not like individual one-to-one. I'm talking about crowds. I'm talking about your relationship to your belief system, your relationship to manifesting, your relationship to a group of people or even what you do online. There's a big shift coming there. And actually, Pluto is saying, what do you need in the world? And this is an ongoing learning lesson for you. And you know, you've already had a very intense Pluto experience, so you know Pluto don't mess about. Pluto is saying your next message is about being secure. And don't forget, you've had Pluto in your sign, so you've done the work. So now you have to be true to yourself when it comes to your sense of security and what makes you feel secure. And there could be a mix of emotions around that on this full moon. But ultimately, you're making very positive changes to be secure and also around your home and family. Aquarius, this is hitting you big time because, of course, Pluto's in your sign. It's retrograde. It's out of bounds. You're like, whoa, I'm going on this crazy, intense, absolute funfair ride of the universe is giving me, and I don't even know what's going on. Well, let me tell you what is going on. You are a caterpillar about to become an extraordinary butterfly, or even something mythical. A mythical creature is going to emerge from that chrysalis, and we don't even know what that is yet. But what we do know is that this full moon is going to deliver some news to you, important news that's going to shift things for you. There may be a slight power struggle within your heart around your career or what you've stood for or your reputation and where you're going next. But ultimately, it's all about you going through and emerging beyond magical. Amazing. So trust the process. Look out for some news. Look out for something extraordinary that is said to you. Do not overreact to it if it's not what you want, and trust the process. Pisces, you gorgeous creature. I don't know if you could see the sea there. I stood up here especially for you to get a view of that. If you're just listening to this, that's crows and that's the sea. And you deserve all that magic. Anyway, this full moon is hitting you around security and abundance. It gives you the courage to go after security and abundance and admit that to yourself. It allows you to open up and go, do you know what? I am worth security. I am worth abundance, and find the core within yourself. You're standing up for yourself in those areas. Also, there's a part of you that wants an adventure, but Pluto is going, are you being realistic? It's a bit of a pain in the arse because Pluto is tending to tell you at the moment, yes, trust your magic, but your boundaries have to be clear and you have to be realistic, magical. You're going through a transformation. Actually, your transformation is so profound, it almost feels, and it even could literally be, you're entering another dimension. You're entering a whole brand new world, and it's just starting to happen. Are you feeling maybe your own insight, your own abilities, your own understanding of the world is deepening in ways that you couldn't conceive of before? It's extraordinary. Trust the process. Keep those little fins on the ground and you cannot go wrong. This is going to deliver, may even deliver you a heap of abundance. I hope so. But really pay attention to anything to do with security. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting me. It would be amazing if you subscribed, liked, commented or shared. It is so helpful. Sending you so much love. May the moon bestow you with much magic, wisdom and joy.